All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarah Soon said he kicked back. Get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right, family. We're excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarah Soon said YouTube page, a dynamic page. Don't need no hype. We got a lot of extraordinary packages for the family memberships. You can click the join link right there in the video description, right there down there in what's down there in the video description, right over there in the video chat. Click that join link and it'll give you a introduction video rundown on all the memberships. If you see one that you just got to have, then you should become a member. We'll love you over here. Make sure you get, all the perks that are due you, and you understand. And even if you don't, we appreciate your presence over here at Sarah Soon Setty's YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right. Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarah Soon Seti DVD lectures. At this time, we got 25% off selected products. That's right. 25% off selected products at KingSeti.com, online marketplace. Official General Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank top, hoodies for the kings, queens, and the children. We got an amazing children's catalog for shirts, and check it out. We also have African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. Check us out, KingSeti.com, 25% off selected products at this time. That's right. Pull the fire alarm, GeneralSeti.com. SETI University, over 1,000 video presentations on African history, heritage, spirituality, nation building, mental warfare, advanced African academics, developing the Black nation one lesson at a time. The complete General Sarah Soon SETI website. And believe me, all the subjects that you know and love from General Sarah Soon SETI is there. When Egypt ruled the earth, old Mecca voyages of the Nile, the blueprint for global African supremacy, God deception, Freemasonry exposed. Man, it's just so much, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Kabbalism, occultism. We have every subject under the sun there, and you got an exquisite rundown from the sage of the age, General Sarah Soon SETI. Cannot be beat. Cannot be beat. So get on over there, check it out. All you have to do is get there, check it out, thank me later. That's right. SETI popping on Patreon, BPC making noise, we never calm. Exclusive live stream, too hot to handle on YouTube, or so exquisite. We keep it for our family on Patreon. We dropping bombs tonight. You should be there. We're going to be dropping bombs on Patreon. And you already know how we do. We got some exclusive live streams, the lost temples, lost ancient Egyptian temples in southern India. That's going to be fire. And how the church steeple at the minaret, Islamic minaret, was stolen from the ancient Egyptian obelisk. And you should be there. You should bet not miss it. You see what I'm saying? Patreon General SETI. That's right. Become a patron today. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King SETI, General SETI, Sarah Soon SETI. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share with your family and friends. And comment, comment, comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Now, black again. Islam and Hajj exposed the Islamic hidden worship of ancient Egypt. We got to deal with it. Don't run. Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Don't you run, because we're going to chase you down with the truth. We're going to chase you down with the truth. So we start over here and we talked about Mount Arafat. You see, we talk about Mount Arafat. Let me get him on here. Yeah, let me get him on here. This old, the Muslim over there. Crying. Look at it. Look at it. Look at that motherfucker. Crying. Let me get it up there. Yeah. Over there crying. Because he's a camel herder. You see? Yeah, Allah, we've been over here with these goddamn camels for the last 2,000 years. We have not developed no further than that. Oh, Allah. Allah. Yeah. Yeah, we still the vagabonds we was when we came, stole the land. Why haven't we gotten better, Allah? Yeah. Yeah, I got to get on them, you see, and show you that they in the most holy ceremony in all the Hajj. You see the prayer on Mount Arafat. And you see them up there, and you see how where the obelisk is holy. You see them putting their hand up there, they get up and they write, they write on it. You know what I'm saying? They write on it too. So it's holy to them. I want you to understand that. It's a holy relic. You see? It's a holy relic. And so this is the most, and so let's deal with it now. Let's deal with it. We're going to get off into some things. Because a lot of people don't understand what the dome is. A lot of people think somehow, it's the rising sun. You see? Yeah, didn't nobody tell you that, did they? See, when they do the golden dome, they bust right on out with it. You see, because the golden dome, like the dome of the rock, believe it, that the dome, yeah, that's the dome of the rock, right? It's the rising sun. Nobody told you that, did they? Because they don't tell you that they are, we pulling the veil up off of them today. That the Muslim ain't nothing but an undercover sun worshiper. That's all he is. That's all he is. And you see a lot. Wait a minute. And and we're gonna get off into the Islamic Roman Catholic connection. We're gonna get off into that too. You see, we're gonna get off into that. And so when you look at the dome, you looking at the rising sun. You see, and we're gonna talk about where they got that aspect, because they didn't have no architecture. They didn't have no architecture. Matter of fact, let me go into this other one. They didn't have no architectures. Let me get into this one. Yeah, because I'm gonna crack their head with that one. Yeah, it's just hard not to get into it. You understand? Because so much of it is Catholicism. You see, so much of it is Catholicism that you just, you can't get away from it. You see, you can't get away from it. Let me start here. Yeah, let me start here. Because a lot of people they don't want to believe. They say, that Islam wasn't started by the Catholic Church. That's a damn lie. So much of it is Catholicism. You see? And so we'll just start early. We can't get away from it. You see? We can't get away from it. So let's start here. It's just so much. I just can't help myself where to start. You see? And so you see right here. Now when the Romans came into Egypt, they did a lot of stealing themselves. Most of what you talk about, the prostrations and so on and so forth, is evident that it was being practiced in ancient Egypt thousands of years before Christianity, thousands of years before Islam, thousands of years before Judaism. You see? And so you see that the prostrations were taken from the walls of ancient Egypt. You see? They didn't have no prostrations. They didn't have no prostrations on that level. They learned the prostrations from ancient Egypt. You see? And so you see, these is one of the aspects, the Serapis worshipers. You see? The Catholics, the Serapis worshipers. And the goddamn Muslims is Serapis, Esau, Serapis. No matter Muhammad, another Serapis. You see? That's why he don't never had no, they never show the face of Muhammad. Why? Why do they not show the face of Muhammad? Because he was never a real human being. You see? He was never real. They're going to give you a lie and say, oh, they don't want you to worship Muhammad. No, he was never a human being. They don't have no, no reflection of him at all. You see? And so you can see where they took. And so even now, let's look. We're looking at all of them. You can tell, see what I want y'all to understand. And though it may hurt, what you call Kabbalism, what you call, the mystical arts of the Arab, that all that jinn and the genie, you see flying on magic carpets, and you understand what I'm saying? Magic lamps, you see, magic lamps and shit. That was the original worship of the Arab, the Jew, the Catholic, no different. See, they didn't have no structure. They was into spookism. Okay, I want y'all to understand that. See, religion takes structure. Okay, it takes organization, which the Arab did not have. The Jew, they didn't have that. They didn't have that structure. Even in the Bible, they did not have that structure. They didn't have no language. What language did they have? They adopted the language of Canaan. They didn't have no language. They spoke, but they didn't have no written language. They didn't have no structure. They didn't have no organization. They adopted the language of the Africans. You see? So when you get into Islam, you see, and that's fairly recent. You see? When you get into the Talmud and the Torah and all of that, that's fairly recent. People thinking no, it's not. You see, they don't have no mass production or no damn Bibles and Torahs in the ancient times. You see, they didn't have no mass production. They making phonies every day. See, that's what they don't understand, and I'm gonna have to bring that out too. You see how they make, that's why you have to ask them. A lot of times they'll tell you, oh, this Bible was written during the time of Jesus. You know what I ask them? Was it mass produced? Was it mass produced? That's a very serious question. Why do I ask them? Was it mass produced? Because that lets you know that whatever was in that book was widely known amongst the masses. And so it will reflect that. If it was, you see, when they start coming out with no goddamn one book, one book could be easily a forgery. You see? And so, a lot of people say when Dr. Walter Williams say, man, that shit is created. A lot of people don't believe. But when you look at institutions like Marvel Comics, and I'm not being funny, do you know how long, when you look at each individual superhero and look at how long, especially the older superheroes, the various teams of superheroes like the Avengers and X-Men and all of this, and just look at each one of those and how long they've been out, how many episodes that have been created. You see what I'm saying? How many other different villains that been created with one particular superhero, Spider-Man. You see, and all the genre that then grew up under one superhero, and then you expand it to all the superheroes. Man, listen here. You're probably talking about hundreds of thousands of episodes, possibly millions. You see, when you add up all the I would like to know what the number is. So if people put the type of time and effort into creating an institution like Marvel Comics, you can create a world. You could create a world of literature and stories and shit. That don't mean nothing. You see what I'm saying? That don't mean nothing. It don't have to take a long time. You see what I'm saying? Marvel Comics came out in say, for instance, what they come out in the 50s, 40s, somewhere along that line. 50s, somewhere along that line. So you talking about in less than 100 years. Look how many episodes. So it ain't nothing to create no goddamn Bible. You understand? And no literature. You see what I'm saying? And you know, and the thing is, and create a world. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you know, a lot of people, you know, who are not connected to history, they not gonna know. If you put a date on it, they control the printing press today. You see what I'm saying? And so when they, you know, they'll put a date and they control history. They control the printing press. You see? That means all the books that ever, you know, in the Western world came through them, except maybe some literature that maybe came from overseas, probably in another language, but somehow it had to be distributed here. So it had to come through some publishing house, some distributions, some institution that's distributing books. You, unless, you know, maybe that, you know, if you're a Muslim, you might brought it over with you. You see what I'm saying? But the vast majority of books have come through European publishing houses, which means that they have totally controlled the whole dating system. Damn near in every book that been written, they agree on a timeline and they roll with it. So all those who have been trained in the Western world, they don't know. They only go with the date because that's what's being published. You don't have no other publishing houses. You know, black people start publishing, but, you know, truly indeed, even majority of books that have been published by black people until recently, where, you know, we in a different age where you can print books, but the majority were printed by Europeans. And so when you talk about when black people were, you know what I'm saying? You know, were not allowed to be educated and shit, this, that, and the third. They didn't have no dating system to argue what was being pushed through the European books. So when they got the books that they, you know, from the European, they went along with the dating system too. Oh, this is an ancient book. How the hell they gonna argue that? How they gonna argue it? So if you control the printing press, you control the publishing houses, you dictate all the fucking information. Regardless to whether it's true or not, you dictate it. He who controls the printing press, who controls the publishing house, control the information that's going into the minds of the people. So where, you know, so the thing is, you know, so today when you think about how Bibles and Qurans is being mass produced, see, this is a different age. People think that this is always how it was, and that's not at all how it was. You know, vast majority of peoples was illiterate. You see, European people was illiterate, and many of them illiterate today. But you know, they on that you know, advanced African white race shit, you know. But if you had to sit down with some of them motherfuckers couldn't even spell their name. You see what I'm saying? And so we get the illusion that somehow, you know, they just become educated. I don't even want to say that in their own information. You see, where they have had. So when you're talking about the time where people have, you know, been able to have Bibles in their house, Just think how long that's been. That ain't even been, say for instance, where having access to Bibles, like you can buy as many Bibles as you want today. How many, think about early America. How long did it take them to get their publishing houses going? Even the early motherfuckers in America didn't have, So you thinking about in America where you have had, or even in Europe, 1800s and, even in the 1800s, you got to understand that the average motherfucker in the streets did not have access to no Bible. And that's something that must be understood. Because you reading this shit today, you can read the whole book, you see, and you can have your own understanding of what you read. But back then, motherfuckers stood at the podium. The motherfuckers out there, 99.9% of them, never ever read a Bible because it wasn't available. So the stories, they had no personal relationship with the stories as if they had read them themselves. A motherfucker just, and a lot of the motherfuckers that had, who were preaching, they didn't even have a Bible. They had been taught word of mouth. And so as Dr. Walter Wood, they philegicized, meaning they just, it's best that they knew the story. They told the story. But it wasn't like they was reading out of no book. You see? So once you understand that, you have to understand that it is really in the last 100 years. Do you understand me? That an average individual has been able to read a fucking Bible or a Quran for themselves on a mass level. Okay? I want you to understand that. So motherfuckers keep talking about how old this shit is. You see? They wasn't reading, most of the preachers wasn't reading from the book. And so a lot of the stories that they was reading wasn't even what you reading in the Bible today. They made the story up as best that they knew how, which means you could have had 100,000 goddamn different stories being felegicized in the pulpit off of motherfuckers, a freestyle. You basically freestyling. You're freestyling. You know what I'm saying? You're not reading from no book. You're freestyling. Only into the modern times have you been able to go in the book and say, you know what, that ain't what it say. You didn't have that opportunity. Shit, even in slavery, goddamn, even if they didn't even give us access to the motherfucker even during slavery, most of it. If you snuck and got a goddamn, so think about even in America, when did black people on a mass level have an opportunity to read the book? So I don't want y'all to think at no time at all, even, you can go, anything past the 1800, it's a blank as far as people having access on a mass level. So when a motherfucker say, oh, this is the oldest Bible, so fucking what? I don't give a goddamn about that. Was it mass produced? Was the people literate? If they wasn't literate, it wasn't mass produced. The shit that you reading today had no effect on no motherfucking body before the 1800s. See, that's where we got to get our understanding. Yeah. So when did this shit really come into creation? See? When did it come into creation? You keep saying, and I'm showing you, and I can show you today. Listen, let me show you. I'm going to do a video on it tomorrow. Do you know How many museums, world-renowned museums and institutions have been sold fakes from Egypt, so-called Babylonia, Greece, Rome, world-class institutions who have been sold fakes where it took them 5, 6, some 10 years to find out that they had bought a fake. So that just lets you know right there that every fucking thing that they got colleges, they got motherfuckers that specialize in making fakes. And that's what they not telling y'all. And they so good at it that it can fool even the so-called top institutions out there. You see what I'm saying? And so I just want you to understand that. So when you talk about Islam don't start into the Quran. You see? And so here it is. You see, that's why most of them, when they learn, they memorize it. You see, y'all thinking, oh, that's so, that they memorize. No, because that's how they didn't have no books. So everything that somebody told them, because they didn't have no literature and shit, this, that, and the third, they had to somehow, that was the only thing that they memorized. When you go to the, whatever the Islamic school is, you see, that's the only thing they memorizing is the Quran. You see, that's the only thing that they memorizing is the Quran. And you know what? They scared they're going to become illiterate again. That's why. Man, hurry up and write this shit, man. Or memorize this. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's almost like as if they're nervous that they're going to lose consciousness. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the reality. So you imagine that these peoples is goat herders, and you could go over there not long ago. So let me tell y'all, how long, and you talking about, when you look at a Quran today, and that it's a book, okay? Because you ain't mass producing no goddamn scrolls. You, listen, Egypt, let me tell you something, and I'm going to run this shit down on y'all. Egypt had the only institutionalized nation on the planet Earth, okay? Because when you go into Egypt, you can look on every temple, you see writing. Ain't no one goddamn scribe did that. You got temples from Egypt on down into hundreds, thousands. Let's talk. When you add the pyramids and you add temples, you're talking about thousands of monuments with writing. We just talking about on the monuments. And then you got papyruses. You see what I'm saying? You got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of scrolls that have been found in ancient Egypt. Ain't no one person did that. So here we can see that they had mass literacy in ancient Egypt. Mass literacy in ancient Egypt. No other civilization in ancient times is able to prove beyond any doubt that there was mass literacy, that the majority of the citizens in the nation were literate, okay? Able to read and write. You see writing on every little necklace. You'll see some initials on every statue, everything in Egypt. Some temples, you can look from the top to the bottom. It's literature. It's information. Who you think put that? One person? No. It took hundreds of thousands of scribes to put that information. You see on them walls, on them scrolls. You see in them tombs. You see? And so until the printing press of Gutenberg in Europe, the movable type. Matter of fact, you might as well say into the 1900s. Because you got to think about when America got its public school system going. European people have not been even probably in mass literacy in the last 100 years. No other civilization where, yes, now they have millions of books, but that come with the printing press. Yeah, that come with the printing press. And so like once they got the printing press, they had to educate the people on the alphabet. They never had been trained. They didn't have no school system so you can go back to Timbuktu, you could go back to ancient Egypt and they were already mass literate. Man, you talking about 3000 BC. And here they didn't get no mass literacy until damn near the 1800s. So I don't want y'all motherfuckers to act like, oh, this Bible come from, use a goddamn lie. The Quran and all of that shit just been mass produced in the last fucking 100 years. In the last 100 years. You understand what I'm saying? In the last 100 years, have they been mass produced on the level? And even if they did, when they got the printing press, even if they printed them up, the goddamn population was illiterate. They couldn't goddamn read them, even if they printed them up. They couldn't goddamn read them. So what I'm saying to you, don't tell me about, oh, this is the oldest. I don't give a fuck what date you put on that book. That still does not, wash away the fact that European people, Asian people, and Arab people have never been mass literate into, you talking about the 1900s, period. Now, if they had some nobles that by way had an African teacher or with some that's how they gained, quote unquote, enlightenment. That was the way that they gained enlightenment. No other way. So I want y'all to understand that. I had to get away from y'all so y'all can understand that. So don't let them fool you that, oh, this started at 0 AD and Muhammad 7. Liars. Nothing but liars. And so that's where you get Mohammedism. Mohammedism was when they didn't have no literature. They didn't have none of them stories. And if they did, it was just, you know what I'm saying, things that they spoke over fire, just like Aladdin and goddamn Sinbad and shit. But they didn't have no structure of a Quran like you had today. There's a damn lie. And if they show you one, just ask them, how the fuck can one book educate millions of people? Huh? How do you do that? How do you, if you got a school of 2,000 people and you got one fucking book in there, how that gonna work? How that gonna work? Say as a matter of fact, you got one book for the whole school. I mean, the whole district. You got one fucking book. How do 10,000, 20,000 people learn from one book? How do you do that? So the next time somebody say, this is the oldest Quran, or this is the oldest, ask them, was it mass produced? And if it was, that one, it should be hundreds, if not thousands, that look just like it. You see what I'm saying? And if you see hundreds of thousands or thousands of them that look just, then that mean that information was mass distributed throughout the people. You see what I'm saying? And that you would see the proof of that, because they'll talk about it. You understand, you're not gonna hear, no one, you ain't gonna have no, if it's mass produced, and then it's gonna have an influence on the people, even visually. They're gonna draw shit everywhere, and and even in the jewelry, you're gonna find it everywhere. Why are they still over there digging and looking for little trinkets? You see, if it was mass produced, just like in ancient Egypt, you could see that their information was mass. It's everywhere. Why the fuck is we still digging under the goddamn ground? It's supposed to be visible above the ground. It's not visible above the ground. You know why? They lied on the dating. They lied. Most of that shit that they finding over there, they creating. You see, Egypt is topsoil. You ain't got to be digging. Yeah, it's gonna be something under, but if you on this level, the topsoil, anything else you find is you know what I'm saying, is a plus. But the proof has already been shown by what's above the ground. We got one last one before we leave, family. The Islamic Roman Catholic connection. That one right there gonna be more visual. Come back, family. Don't you dare miss it. We dropping nothing but mega bombs on their ass tonight. We dropping nothing but mega bombs on their ass tonight. You see? All right, family. This is General Cyrus Soon said. He saying, A, arm yourself with knowledge, bang on that wicked ass beast, daily liberation through African education and confrontation. Black Power.